cool.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad we have another online teacher here. That seems like that's what the majority of us do. So we can definitely gear our examples toward that. So welcome, Ashley. Oh, someone new. Hello. Hi, Samara. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Samara.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for allowing me to join.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for coming. My name is Justine, and I'm here with Robert. And today we're talking about applied AI for teachers. Just love a quick intro from you, if you don't mind, just letting us know where you're calling from, what your role is, and how you're using AI in your role right now.
Thanks for giving me opportunity. I am Dr. Sumeran Lee. Actually, I have done PhD in management science, but I'm attached with Cambridge system. From 2007 onward, I am teaching to A-level classes, accounting, business, and at KS12 level, I want to know this thing, that how AI will be more useful. I'm from Pakistan.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Pakistan, Botswana, South Africa, US. I love it.
Yes, it's a global course.
And
AI
Botswana in Zimbabwe.
Super cool. All right, so quick speed run through this. For those of you who just joined, we're just talking about the 4 types of AI users generally who approach the tools and how they're using it. So the majority of people are using it for research as a search engine, and we were just talking about, you know, it's not a bad application, but it is something that you need to be careful with. You do need to ask for sources and check the sources, because AI is not designed to be a research tool unless you're using a specific AI research tool, which is a whole separate thing. But if you're using one of the general public LLM tools, those are not designed to be particularly accurate. And that's what hallucination is they will give you an answer that sounds really good, and answers your question appropriately, but is not particularly, you know, accurate. So that's just something to keep in mind. The next way is email architects. These folks are people who use AI to compose their emails as well as their responses. And I was just throwing in my 2 cents that I think that's actually a good idea for us to pause before sending emails, take a moment to review it and revise it, and especially to allow ourselves a moment to breathe if it was an emotionally charged email. That way we're not getting into those email wars, passive aggression. So that can be helpful. Chat friends, most people don't actually do it this way, use AI for this reason. It does exist, people that use AI as a companion, a boyfriend or a therapist, but it is not it's not the most common way to use AI, and not the good way. And then the way in which we like to talk about it here is to use it as a cyborg. That's a funny word, but really it's more meaning that it's like an extension of yourself. So therefore you don't necessarily even think about where the idea came from. Did it come from AI? Did it come from me? Because you're going back and forth so frequently to check the idea and evolve the idea, that it feels like it's just part of you, and that the tool itself is part of you. So that's what we're talking about here today, how to just seamlessly integrate it into your workflow so it doesn't feel like you're picking up a tool and then putting down the tool. It's just part of you. Any questions about that before we move forward? Okay. All right, let's proceed. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Robert here today. So he's going to tell us a little bit about how he personally uses AI in his work and life.
What you see right up front is fun. So I love having a lot of fun with AI. I ask it questions. Other day, Justine's heard this a million times. I took a picture of the fridge, and I said, "Can you please tell me what ingredients I've got and make a recipe for me?" And lo and behold, it even sees that what kind of ingredients you have. Like this one picked up, I see you have capers. was like, wow, I hate capers, but they were there. I use it a lot for if I'm struggling with software. So what I'll do, for example, silly example, yesterday Teams was playing up, my Teams. So I take a photograph and I ask it whatever I need to ask it, like, you know, is this hanging? What's wrong? And it says, click here, do this, do that, do this, and then it comes right. So I'll use it a lot for if I don't understand the software or how to get, or like yesterday with Teams, just shut down completely. I use it a lot for marking my students, and I'll show you a bit of that later. I develop presentations. It's awesome. If you take, you can make really, well, not all platforms, but on the platform that I prefer using, you can make amazing PowerPoint presentations. Willing to show you that as well. And then some research, and I use it a lot for social media marketing. So prompt, and you can say, right, tell me when to go on Facebook, and it tells you. You'll have the most people around 6 o'clock in the evening. It tells you what to do on LinkedIn, gives you a separate content that it writes, and on Instagram, it goes on there. And then you can say, now set out the marketing plan for a week and remind me when I need to post it. And so it uses that. I think for me, the biggest skill in the lovely world of AI is you must be curious. Nothing to be afraid of. You can make mistakes. It's cool. And I think also you've got to be creative, because this AI has power. It's a very powerful, very powerful, depending on what you need it for and what platform you're using it. So yeah, curiosity and creativity is for me a key skill. Anything else? Language translation, meeting notes, analyzing complex information, research and development. But there's just a couple of little story about what I do and how I use it.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
All right, so I will share my side of the story here, which is not so different. As I mentioned, I use AI as an extension of my own cognition. So essentially, I go back and forth so frequently. I don't know whether AI came up with it or I came up with it. It's been evolved and iterated and collaborated so many times. I also think about it as a digital employee rather than a tool. I do try to build more of a conversational relationship with the LLM tools that I use, not only to be able to get better output, but also as a psychological tool for me as a human. It helps when I personify in a way so that I treat it more like a person, so that when I talk to people, I'm still talking like a person. I do find sometimes that people who use AI a lot and they're used to prompting AI a lot, it actually changes how they speak to people. So that's something I'm cognizant of. In terms of the workflows that I use it for primarily would be planning and organizing ideas. So I'm somebody that likes to think out loud, big picture person. I throw in a lot of details. Sometimes I'll even do a really long audio message to AI and then just ask it to organize that for me. So that I'll have an outline or something to work from that's a little bit more palatable than a wall of text or just an idea that's in the cloud. So for me, it's a starting point, a jumping off point for some of those messier ideas that I start with. I also use it for research and learning support. As I mentioned, I definitely check my sources though, and try to make sure that I'm using the appropriate tools when I'm researching. Ones that are more geared towards research versus just predictive text and creating text that sounds really good but is not accurate. I do a lot of image generation. This is for social media marketing as well as other marketing related to learning and development and materials that I create for classes. So for me, images are a big part of my practice. I design games and stuff, so for me, it's all part of that. Creating those visuals, and for me, I love that, being able to reduce that barrier to entry. For being creative in that way. Like, I don't have a background in art or design or things like that, and so it's really empowering to be able to get these creative ideas out of my head and just describe them, and then it's like, oh, it pops up this picture that I could never draw myself. Which is kind of fun for me, even if it's not like the greatest drawing ever. Like, it's definitely 150 times better than what I could do by hand. Then intellectual cohesion and brand alignment. So for me, I do a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts in my work. So being able to have a shared concept behind everything is helpful. And sometimes I just brainstorm that with AI so they can see the alignment. What are the through lines in what I'm doing? And help me be able to express that when I'm talking to people about what I do. It doesn't sound like a random hodgepodge collection of activities. They're like, oh, I see the common mission across the board, that thread. And that's important for me. And then I also use digital clones or custom GPTs. My preferred tool is ChatGPT. And I have created a variety of custom GPTs where you can train based on your own information to do certain things. So it's a type of agent, and we'll talk about what an agent is in the future. Any questions about how we use AI? Okay. All right, so let's just hop right into the learning objectives for today. So we are going to chat about what AI is actually really good at right now. And we will also talk about what it's not really good at. And I've already brought in some hesitations of my own. We'll find out some of your experiences with it as well, in terms of like what it seems to work really well at, and what you've hit some snags with. So that's one of our first learning objectives, is finding that discernment between when should I use it and when shouldn't I use it. Then learning how to ask better questions and get better answers. So we'll talk about prompt standards and prompt engineering, which are different things, but they're both very useful when you're crafting the questions that you pose to AI, and be able to get more of what you want, especially more of what you want on the first time, rather than continually prompting. And we will then talk about how Robert uses AI in a very specific online teaching example, which hopefully will be relevant for both of you. And then we're going to ask you a couple questions about what are your current pain points, and how do we maybe think that AI can help us, whether that is in our classroom work or some of the work outside of the classroom, so that we have more time to do the work in the classroom. So is there anything that you came into this class hoping to get out of it that we do not have listed here on the screen?
Come on, Dr. Sibunele, Ashley.
I mean, there's so few of us, we can definitely tailor this for you.
And now that you've mentioned how we use AI in, like, when we teach online, I think that's very important, because I am also looking to grow myself in this industry. I am very new. I just recently started teaching online. I used to teach in the classroom. So I just want to know more. I've seen videos, like introduction videos, and I'm like, I don't know how to do most of the things, you know? So I'd be really looking forward to that. Cool.
You will be in Birch Rate, because not only will we do some hands-on work here, so you're actually going to get a chance to practice, but Robert's example is just very specific to what you do. I think there's probably a lot of other examples that we would love to work on with you.
Yes.
But it's yeah, this is all new for everybody. I mean, nobody's an expert in this. We're all experimenting, we're all playing, we're all just getting curious and seeing what works. So neither of us are software developers. We're not making AI tools. We're just using it to you know, enhance our work and save some time.
Okay, that's great. Thanks.
All right, so moving forward, so let's talk a little bit about the different types of AI that you might have heard these terms in the media. You might have heard it in when you take an online course, Intro to AI or things like that. They've probably used these terms. So I just want to make sure that we know the difference between them and how they overlap. So the first is generative AI. They also say Gen AI. And that relates to the large language model tools that are pretty popular right now. So OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, also as well as the enterprise tools of Copilot and Gemini. There's more than what I'm describing here, but there's also there's some major ones, and that's what they're talking about. They're talking about tools that generate content, text, code, images, or ideas in response to a prompt. So it's not going to come up with it on its own. It's not going to, in the middle of the night, wake you up and say, here, I got an idea. You have to reach out and tell it what you want, and then it creates something for you. So that's why it's generative. That is the type that we are focusing on here today, is generative AI for teaching. But there are other types of AI. So agentic AI is when AI can decide what to do and take action across tools. And they're trying to achieve a goal. So really with an agent, you're programming it. Even if you're not coding, you might be, describing what you want it to do. And you're basically, instead of telling it, create this thing for me, you're saying, do this thing for me. So for example, you might tell it, I want you to research all the news articles related to X topic every day, and I want you to write a summary of that and then email it to me every day. That would be an agent, even though the summary part would be generative. So it might still do something generative, but in terms of like delivering something to your inbox every day and doing a repetitive task, that's what makes it an agent. Does that make sense? Okay, and then the last one is automation, which is not specifically AI. Automation has been around forever. It's just using technology to execute a workflow automatically. So anytime you're setting up something that has a trigger, if this, then that, that's automation. AI may be included, and that is where like an agent, for example, is a type of automation because you're setting it up to run every day and do the same thing every day. So that is automation. And it might also have AI built into it, such as writing that summary. But not all automation is AI, and not all AI is automation. That makes sense. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the capabilities of generative AI. This is a reality check as to like what it's good at least right now, and what it's not so good at least right now. And that way, when we approach these tools, we don't think it's, a magic genie that can do everything. We know how to use it appropriately. And we also know when to set down the tool and do it ourselves. So what it's good at is turning incomplete ideas into structured outlines. That was like the number one thing for me, right? Having that messy idea, you're just like, here's what I'm thinking, blah, 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 and just doing that idea dump, and then allowing AI to just organize that for you into an outline, which can be really helpful for people who think in that way. I think in, big ideas, and then, I need somebody else to organize that for me. It's good at that. It's also good at drafting text and iterating it quickly, as well as code and images. So these are going to just pop out very quick. Something that might have taken you a really long time to write before, you could get a draft of it from AI first. And then sometimes it's easier to like edit a draft than to start something from scratch. Looking at that blank screen can be intimidating sometimes. So sometimes you could just say, I want to write an email that basically says XYZ, and then it'll write the whole thing for you. And then you can go in and edit it yourself. And that'll save you a whole bunch of time. It also can iterate it quickly. So once you get that email, for example, you can say, what I really wanted it to say is this, or can you do it more in the tone that like an executive would want to read this, or can you actually write this so that a fifth grader would understand? So you can change the tone of how they write it, even if the information is correct. So it's good at iterating that and changing voice. Analyzing information from long text and images. So that's that summary. It's very good at summarizing. So if you have a big research article and you just want to get the gist of it before digging all the way into it, you could plug the whole article in there and say, what are the key points that I should be paying attention to? What are the takeaways? And that way, when you go read it, you have a little bit of a frame on there for yourself. And you can also do this with images because it does have, this is computer vision, so it can analyze images and give you information about what's going on in the picture, which is pretty cool. Different tools are better at this and other tools are not. So, there is, again, a discernment as it relates to selecting the tool that's most appropriate for the task at hand. Providing options and different perspectives. This is one of the ways I really love to use AI, which is basically asking it, what am I missing? And so when you're making a plan, before you take action, to feed it the plan and say, here's what I'm going to do. What might go wrong here? Or, what are some options I'm missing? Or what might, and select any person, what might this person think of this plan? How might this person react? How might this make a whole group of people feel? How might it make a whole classroom of fifth graders feel? You can ask it to sort of ideate, and that's an imaginative exercise, and that's what it tends to be good at, is these sorts of thought experiments. And in that vein of being a thought experimenter, AI is pretty good at being a thinking partner, basically brainstorming with you. So if you're just looking to get the ball rolling on a new idea, you can say, well, what do you think about this? And can you give me 5 alternatives for that? Or can you give me a list of 10 things that are similar to this? You can just start to bouncy ball back and forth some ideas with it before you even start planning. So that can be useful. So I'm going to pause here. Been talking a lot, and I just want to see for you in your own experience thus far, what have you found that AI is really good at? And this can be personally or professionally. Feel free to come off mute. There's only 3 of us.
You're done, Bart.
Personally, AI has really helped me in doing some applications, when I want to draft an application letter, or sometimes when I want to upgrade my resume. And yes, I think in things like that. And maybe because I've also been looking to find work here on the ground, AI has also helped me to find some schools near me. Since I recently moved to the village, I used to live in the city. Now I'm in a new environment. I've been able to get a few contacts from AI, and I think that's been really helpful so far. Justin, I just wanted to ask, do you have a specific app that you use for AI? Because currently I'm using it on WhatsApp.
I'm not sure what you mean by app. I'm not familiar with that term.
The app.
Oh, app. Do I have an
Yes.
app that I use? Yeah. So my
Yes.
preferred tool is ChatGPT. I have a Plus subscription, but I am familiar with others. Some of the built-ins, I didn't even know WhatsApp had a built-in AI. That's interesting. But I do use some built-ins like Gemini and Copilot, so they're built into the whole software suite. And I have used Claude. It's just not my preferred. It is Robert's preferred. So he I like that we have kind of both sides of that in terms of the popular ones, but those are the main ones that I use. I also use certain tools that do specific things for my work, such as video creation and video editing, other stuff like that. But that's all it does. It doesn't generate content. They're not LLMs.
Oh, I'd really like to learn more about video creation and things like that. It would be really interesting.
Video creation. Yeah. Happy to talk about that at the end. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So let's talk a little
Cool.
bit about what it's not so good at. So first thing is intuiting real world context. I can talk. So what that means is basically it doesn't really understand nuanced social interactions and power dynamics and things like that. Even though it might conceptually understand that, it's not going to intuitively know, what the power dynamics in your classroom are, or in your family are, or what people emotional triggers are. So if you want it to take those into consideration when you're making recommendations or generating content, you do need to feed that into the LLM and say like, oh, okay, this person has this background and they tend to be sensitive to this thing, and they're also prefer this sort of thing. Like that would be the real world context that it doesn't necessarily understand. So the social things, or it won't guess about that. Making ethical decisions or important judgment calls. And this is just, our preference is that you're not using AI to make those important decisions for you, that you are leaving that up to your human judgment. And mainly it's because, morals are not built in to these tools. They are like agnostic. They're neutral. And that doesn't mean they're evil, but it also doesn't mean they're built to be good. And so it's really up to the user to decide how it's used. And then when we make important decisions in our life, we have to like feel that in our body. You're going to know in your gut, whether something is a good decision or a bad decision. And AI doesn't have guts, it doesn't have those feelings. It doesn't have those human sensations that are telling it, oh, this is probably the right thing, even if it's not the most logical thing, or even if it's not the most productive thing. Like, it's not going to think that way. We do. So it's important for us to leave those decisions up to us. It's not always great at producing a perfect result on the first try. I will say sometimes that has more to do with us than it, and how we prompt it. Maybe we were not clear. Or maybe we kind of hoped it would fill in the blanks better than it does. So you do need to be extremely specific if you want it to give you a great first result. And I will recommend trying to do that, because the more that you reprompt it, the quality does go down, and it does regenerate the content, whether it's text, code, or images. It regenerates it every single time. So it's not like going into Canva, for example, and you can move something around, or say like delete this letter, and then everything's going to be the same. If you ask it to like make a little change in anything it has generated, it's actually going to change it a lot. So it's better to kind of have a near perfect first result, and then you edit it, than to keep reprompting and reprompting. It also is not great at replacing human interaction. And this goes back to that, it doesn't have a body, it doesn't have that context. And then the social context doesn't have the physical context of like what it's like to be a person. So even though it might sound like it does, it's just really good at pretending. So you need to keep that in mind. And also for yourself as a person, with companionship is more than just talking. There is value in having other people that you can see, and be around physically. So it cannot replace that. And it's also not great at guaranteeing accuracy or truth. I would recommend thinking about AI as a creative tool. Even if it's helping you structure things like that, like that it doesn't require accuracy. That is creative in and of itself, how we design things. Asking it to write fiction of some sort, or copy for a caption, something that doesn't matter if it's 100% accurate. It just matters that it sounds really good. So storytelling is incredibly important. That is how humans conquered this planet. There's nothing more important than storytelling. But just know that storytelling doesn't mean that it's true. So any other thoughts on this that you have found in your own experience that AI is just not really helping you with? Okay, so like the only reason I'm bringing this up is just so that we know that part of being a good applied AI user is knowing when to set down the tool. And just saying, it's not going to help me with this, and I should do this myself. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how to build that prompt so that we get that first result that is pretty darn good, so that we don't have to keep reprompting and reprompting. So if you start every prompt with these 4 standards, you're going to get something pretty decent, because this is how it's designed to receive input from you. So start with a goal. Tell it what specifically you're trying to achieve. And so I mean holistically, big picture here. Telling it like, I am trying to get a job. And you give it kind of like that major outcome first, then it has the context of why am I creating this content for you? It's for that goal. Then the why does this matter is why it matters to me. Okay, it matters to me because I don't have a job right now and I'm looking to do XYZ in the future. And so giving it a little bit more of that social, personal background, so that it can understand your own context. Then some guardrails. What information should be included in whatever it's generating for you and what shouldn't. So that's really useful, because it might pull in things that you're like, I don't want anything from that source. I don't want you to write it in this particular way. I don't want to hear it in this voice. So you can be really specific about what you don't want to see and what you do want to see in the generation that it creates for you. And then finally, you need to be specific about the type of output that you're looking for. Are you looking for an essay? Are you looking for a resume? Are you looking for a picture? Are you looking for a video? So just be really specific as to what you're asking it to create. So does that make sense? We have our goal. This is where I'm headed. That's the the train on the tracks. I'm headed to that destination. However, I need to explain why I want to get to that destination and how to stay on the tracks, and then what the output should look like. Okay, so these are all the standards. And then as you are crafting your prompt, what you want to think about is prompt engineering. So this is the exact techniques that you would use to give proper instructions. So telling the train exactly where to go, how fast you want it to move. So this is more of the stylistic advice. And I liken this to leadership. So when I talk to AI and I'm prompt engineering, I am thinking like a leader. And I'm trying to, I'm going to start with, what is the right tool that I should be using for this given task? Because not all LLMs are the same, and not everything that I want to make is, in an LLM in the first place. So there might be an entirely different tool, for example, the video makers or the editors or things like that. Like those are specific AI tools that are not ChatGPT or Claude. So you may want to just take some time before you even prompt at all to decide what is the right tool to begin with. Then think about abstract inquiry. So that is part of prompt engineering. So it's going to have some sort of default that it prefers. And the more that you use it, you're going to know its default, whether that's voice, how it presents the language. It's going to have a default language, as well as images sometimes have a default look that look like AI. And maybe you like that look, and that's cool. I kind of like the look. Not everybody does. So you have to be very specific in the directions that you're giving it, that if you want something outside of the default, you have to say that. So that could be a certain voice, that could be a perspective, it could be a hypothetical. And this is especially useful if you're generating creative content, because if you're just asking it questions to get information, it doesn't matter, right, what voice it comes out in. But if you're looking to present something as your own voice, you're going to want that to sound different. Finally, output improvement. So this is that reprompting thing. Reprompting to edit or improve an initial output from AI. This is important, but it includes your own editing. So output improvement could be reprompting the AI saying, do it a little differently. It also could be you just taking it off of the tool and editing it yourself. So prompt engineering, sometimes it's knowing when to remove it, knowing that this is probably the best it's going to be. This is the 85% good, and I can do that last 15% myself. What questions do you have about prompt engineering? Okay. All right, So I am going to pass the mic back to Robert at this point, and he's going to share his demo, the example that he uses for online learning, to be able to save himself some time and take better record of what he's doing.
So this is one idea from an ESL perspective that I would use. Justine, why can't I see that? There we go. So I go to Claude. Claude knows me. I know all the tools, but Claude does pretty much what I want. And I've asked it to. I've taken my phone and I've taped a lesson with a student. After the lesson that I've taped with the student, the phone kicks out exactly what was said in that whole conversation. Everything that we had, or that the student and I discussed, every single word. And what I do with it then is I go to Claude and I upload the transcribed. Then the specific company I work for, they want the evaluation report done in a very specific way. So here's the way that they want it done. And after a while, I actually prompted Claude to give a better evaluation than what is expected from the company. So back to Claude, and I upload the blank test, okay, so the blank form. And I then tell it to please do what it did the last time we were in this class, and please fill out the evaluation report. You'll notice down in the bottom right-hand side, there is an Opus 4.8, a Sonnet 4.6, and a 4.5 Haiku. This is a really deep thinker. It takes time. It doesn't just chuck out answers. I use it a lot. And I ask it to, I ask it to really put in an effort and do a high amount of thinking. But I can also go extra and max, but not for this specific case. Okay, so I've asked Claude to please fill out that blank evaluation report, and click, off it goes. And this one takes a little bit of time because, as I said right down at the bottom, I've asked it to do a lot of thinking. So let's let it run there. You'll notice it's reading the file, it's reading the transcript, now letting me inspect the evaluation template, and so it goes. Other things that I might use it for, and I'll give you an example. I've used it before to, so the company or whoever I work with, they want the report done in this way. What's interesting about this doesn't work well on Claude, but it does work well on ChatGPT. So what I did is I took the video of the class, and let me show you if you click the video. So there's me. This is teaching really young students. And the first person that we taught, up at the top, you'll notice There's Doris. And we speak to Doris. And for this specific verbal test, there were 5 students in that class. ChatGPT knew exactly who they were, their names, and it gave them in order. So Alice was the first person. You will see Doris was second, then Lucy, Nancy, and Mia. And it gave them scores for pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, and fluency. That took probably, and behavior. It took probably 5 minutes on Claude. And another interesting thing is, why don't you want to do this for me? It writes a full-on report on Alice. Alice performed well during speaking nest, blah, 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 blah. It's very accurate if you're using, for example, I do on Claude, the paid version. I'm on Pro, it costs $20, and it really does give you very accurate information. If you get the higher ones, they're even more accurate. I've got a friend in the engineering company, and this thing does, Claude does engineering drawings perfectly. So, no, as a matter of interest. Okay, let's go and have a look what's happening. There you go. Thank you, Claude. It's now taken the transcribe. And there's the report from the transcription. It puts my student's name in. Oh yeah. Puts my name in. Evaluation date. It then gives you exactly the scores. That's not the big problem. The big, well, not the thing that takes a lot of time. The thing that takes the time is this, is the writing of that report. And that company wants it in a very, very specific way. Pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, etc. And I wonder how long that takes the average teacher. So bang, bang, done. It makes my day a happy day because I don't have all this admin that takes absolute hours and hours and hours. Any questions? Come on, teachers. You online teachers know that you can write a strategy of how to get more students using social media. Anyway, so it can help you with strategic thinking. And as I said earlier, there is so much this thing can do, and so much maybe things that you would like it to do that is going to save you time. I said to Justine last time and to the group last time that you could save up to a day and a half of heavy admin a week. And do a lot of teaching in that time. Any questions? Come on, Ashley.
Yes.
Yes.
I have a question. I normally, like I said, I use especially ChatGPT for lesson planning, but I've been using it as well a lot for my job applications and for my interviews as well a lot. But I feel like something is lacking that I don't know. Is there a specific way I can use it, for example, to make my applications stand out more, like just to make it a little bit different from everyone else's? Because I'm pretty sure we're at a point where a lot of people are using chat for their applications and everything.
Well, I suppose, like Justine said, maybe really, really good prompting, and then maybe try a different platform and have a look what it says. Yeah, I don't know. Justine, any suggestions?
I wish I had an answer with that one. I will just say that the way we search for jobs and the way we get jobs and all that sort of thing has changed. So it is important to know that basically your resume is not going to a human. It's going to an AI screener, their ATS system, and they're searching for keywords. And I mean, one of the best practices I've heard, but it's exhausting even with AI, is to customize your resume for every single job by feeding it the job description that was posted, and then having it tailor your resume to fit exactly that particular job and use the keywords that they have used in the job description, because they're looking for specific things, you know, whether it's skills or certain software or certain types of experience. They want it written exactly how they wrote it, because that's what the screener is going to be searching for. That does not guarantee you anything. And it also, like, the system might just reject you for no reason, even if you're completely qualified and experienced or overqualified. So like, I wish I had better answers on the job market right now. That's a scary topic.
Indeed. Yeah, it's quite right. The landscape of what's happening out in the job market is like Justine says, it's looking for words, but it's so quick to write your resume. It's unbelievable. You know what I do? I actually just take a print screen of the advert.
Mm-hmm.
So print screen, put it into whatever platform you prefer, and say, write me a tailor-made resume for this role, and give me a covering letter, and you can send it. But you'll check obviously before you send it. So yeah, very much job specific. We did a little bit of research lately. Last year, I did some research. Biggest things in that companies are looking for now is they care less about the fact at which university you study. So I was at Princeton or Harvard, or can that guy or girl do the job?
Mm-hmm.
So are you competent? That came really very much to the fore. And AI was number one. Do you understand how to use it? And so even as a teacher, your ability to use AI is important, because your students are using it. I can promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
And Justine and I were talking about it the other day. And it's actually scary because they're not thinking. And you are also not really thinking. And how do you, as a teacher, get by with, because this isn't teaching, they're just regurgitating what ChatGPT said to them. They said, give me 6 points, and they're giving it back to you. Is you really need to push very hard on, what did I call it last time? Justine, what did I call it?
Human skills of some sort. Sales skills.
It was like, what did I? No, it's actually they've got to. It's anyway. When I remember the word, I'll tell you. But you as a teacher really need to push them hard in terms of thinking.
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking. There you go. Yeah. So if you've got a student that's giving you a great answer, test them on the critical thinking.
Mhm.
Tell me more. Why, etc. And that's so important in teaching. Just as a matter of interest, the three biggest areas where AI is going to make changes in the world is education. So deal with it. It's happening very quickly. In the medical field and in agriculture. Huge changes coming in those three industries. Massive. I mean, on the medical front, my friend of mine works for a doctor. And you can't read his writing. Took a photograph, loaded up to ChatGPT or to Claude, and it wrote the notes out perfectly. Other things that are going to happen, it's probably going to read an X-ray a lot better than any doctor can. And these things are happening. And education is big time changing.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Ashley, I just wanted to mention also, because you used the word like standing out. And I will say, at least, in the last year, that's actually the opposite of what AI is looking for. They don't want you to stand out. So if your resume is too unique, you're going to get immediately filtered. They're looking for more generic resumes that exactly fit the description and that sort of thing. So that's disappointing because we do all these things to differentiate ourselves and develop, unique skill sets and whatever. And I think it's a real missed opportunity right now in the job market that they are kind of filtering out people with unique skills. But hopefully they'll fix that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much.
Can I show you then one more trick? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I think we've got a bit of extra time because so I was doing a executive business program. For a company in Mexico. So I did all the presentations, and this is what they looked like in the beginning. Have a careful look. I want you to focus on the look and the feel of the original presentation. And it looks terrible. Let's face facts. It's really horrible. Anyway, I asked ChatGPT, please make it in line. Remember Justine said earlier, in line with the brand template of the company that I'm working for. And it takes literally 3 minutes, and this is what came out. It just far more professional executive English program, and it comes up with introduction, main aims of the class, warm up, responding, technique for managing, and so and breakout rooms and debates and all that type of stuff. Okay, yes, this is adult English, but yeah, quick, professional. I actually, last night, a student asked me, or student's mother gave me what the oral test was going to be, and it was written in Turkish. So I don't know. So I asked her to transcribe it into Turkish and to develop me a PowerPoint presentation, which she did within seconds. Okay. Anything else? And I think that's lots of fun.
Okay, so
Goody.
we would love to know what takes up some of your time in terms of your administrative ability or capabilities and things that you're doing for work, as well as I don't know what I'm sharing the wrong thing. Any sort of admin thing that might take a lot of time. We just want to know what's eating up your time, and I'm going to give you a survey here to take a look at. Let me actually move forward in the presentation because we haven't scanned this QR code yet. So our first QR code is on the screen. So if you take out your phone, you can also enter in menti.com and enter the code that you see there. Or you can scan the code and it should take you directly to it. I'm going to leave it up for just a second, and then we're going to go to the slide where I can see your results. Does everybody have it?
Anybody not sure what to do? So just take your phone, scan the QR code, and then you'll see a whole lot of questions on what they call the Mentimeter.
Yep. And if you don't have your phone with you, you can just open up another tab and type www.menti.com and enter that code that you see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the results here. So the question we are asking is, where'd it go? What takes up most of your time each week? And you can check
Wow.
all apply.
Feedback.
See, one person responded. Is everybody else having trouble getting in, or just you haven't responded yet?
Just push submit
Okay.
at the bottom. So click on all of them or the relative ones, and then just at the bottom go submit.
Okay. So looks like we're across the board here with a couple different things: writing curriculum, lesson plans, creating the tests and quizzes, writing feedback on student work, grading assignments, responding to parent emails. I don't have anything about the creating the personalized study materials, but like AI can definitely help with that. Creating worksheets and classroom activities. So all of this stuff is very easily facilitated by AI. And it doesn't mean it's doing the work for you, but it might be saving you some of the time that you did a lot of manual work, and ultimately you might still need to update the draft of whatever output comes out. But it just helps kind of get the ball rolling and get things started for you, so you're not having to do everything from scratch. So what I want you to think about right now is the one thing that for you takes up the most time, the one thing. And what we're going to do is a applied activity now. And I want to share on the screen the four main, the big hitter tools that are LLM tools. They're all free tools for the most part. Like, you can upgrade to higher levels to get better results, but these four tools you can use to answer the question, how can I use AI to help me with this particular task? So that's one of the most fun activities that I like doing with AI. Before I even tell it what to do, I ask what it can do and how it might approach helping me with that particular problem. So I'm going to ask you to do that for whatever activity you've selected as that takes up most of your time. Select one or all of these tools and copy and paste the URL into a tab and ask it Just ask it, how might I save time using AI on X activity? And we'd love to hear your results. If you have any questions while you're doing this, feel free to shout them out. Does anybody have a response that they'd like to share? Which tool are you using? I know I have 4 up here. We kind of talked about what the strengths are of each. Which one did you select for your particular task?
I'm using Gemini.
Okay. And what activity did you ask it to help you with?
Lesson planning.
Lesson planning. Okay. And what result did you get?
I'm still on it. I'm gonna share just now.
Okay. Does anyone have a different use case they asked about besides lesson planning?
Sibonile, what did you ask? Doc?
It's a bit complicated for me because I'm using AI on WhatsApp.
Mm.
Yes, so that's the only platform that I currently have.
Can you
And
try
yes,
one of the 4 that we have listed here?
Yes, sure, no worries.
Yeah, try that. Try that. See which one. And they all start kind of the same. If you haven't used any of them yet.
Doctor, are you still there?
Not sure. Okay, so just to kind of summarize what we did here today, we talked about some of the capabilities of AIs, what it does well, what it doesn't do well. We talked about prompt standards, prompt engineering, ways in which to craft a good prompt so that you get the good first output. You don't need to continue to prompt over and over and over. Robert shared an example for online teaching to be able to save a lot of time so that he can spend more time actually teaching and getting more students. And then here, we just asked you to take a look at how you could ask AI how AI can help you. I know it's a little meta, but that's the first step sometimes is finding out what you don't know about it and it being able to guide you towards the best prompt to even start with. So at this point, we really just want to know what you want next in your learning journey. What would be useful to you? And so I invite you to go back to the Mentee And if you don't have it up on your screen anymore, you can go ahead and scan the code or enter the number. And I'm going to reshare because we just want to know what to do next and how we can best help you in your particular learning journey. So the offerings that we could potentially share with you would be one-on-one coaching or consulting. We can offer small weekly group learning labs where maybe you potentially come for 20 minutes. We present a topic and answer any questions that you might have, whatever you encountered that week, we could chat about. We could also offer a combination of things, as well as we do have our own info site and AI learning assistant that we can share with you as well. So we just want to know what you might be interested in.
Learning labs.
Justin, I also need some help with creating introduction videos. Like I created introduction videos, I think it was 2 years ago. That was the last time I made an intro video. So maybe I just need something that is new and more interesting, something that is eye-catching,
Mhm.
you know, because it's been a really long time since I've tried to make a new video. So I'm just like really willing to like start over,
Mhm.
because I've seen some really interesting videos like of teachers, and I think I really need an upgrade.
Cool. Yeah, I think we could definitely focus on that for one of our learning labs. I make a lot of videos for my work, and so I have some tricks of the trade. I'm sure there's a variety of other tools that I'm not using, but I'd be happy to show you what I do for anything that's like my face, as well as any AI generated videos, as well as like what we're doing right now. I'm creating a video and we can upload this like directly to YouTube, so y'all can take a look at it later. So there's a lot of different tools out there right now to be able to rapidly create it and post it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that video is very important, and Justine makes awesome videos. I
Oh,
also
wow.
want
I
to, I
really
also
like
want to learn how to do that.
I have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, that's nice. I'd really love to see some of your videos.
Yeah. Follow me
Yeah.
on Instagram, which is actually our last slide here. I'm going to get to that.
Last slide.
Yep. So our last slide is sharing our information. Robert and I both have our own Instagram accounts. You're welcome to follow us. We also have a Future Applied Instagram account if you want to just check out whenever we're hosting these courses or things like that. But the best place for you to visit for that would be the WhatsApp. So if you're already part of the WhatsApp group, that's where we'll reach out first and let you know. So you get first come, first serve for any upcoming sessions and things like that. But yeah, please join us. And if you love this learning experience, please generate a AI image of yourself as a cyborg and then tag us on Instagram. And if you have any other questions, we will hang around here for the next 5 minutes. Otherwise, you are free to go back to your day. Feel free to reach out in any way on LinkedIn, Instagram, email, whatever, WhatsApp, and we can answer your questions that way. If something comes up after this session that pops into your mind, we would be happy to help you. I will be following up with an email that will have this recording as well as a link to our info site, so which has all the information of this, basically the PowerPoint, but it's in a website format. And then it also has access to our learning assistant. So if you want to ask it any questions, it will answer your questions. But one of the best things that it can do is answer or give you practice use cases. So if you just don't know where to begin, you can say like, what are some ways in which I can apply AI in my work, and it can give you a bunch of examples and ways to practice that way. So AI is a great learning tool, and as a teacher, I recommend you play around with it and in that way to create that wraparound learning experience for your students. Any questions?
Well,
All right. Well, have a fabulous day, folks. Good to see you. And thank you for joining us.
thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Pleasure. Hope you enjoy it.
Oh, so these 4 different ways to use AI that you just showed us here, do I have to like download a specific one on the phone or on the computer so that I can use it all the time, or I have to Google it first, then use it on the Google web specifically?
That's a great question. So Google itself has its own AI tool called Gemini. And it's already built into Google search. So when you Google something and it,
Mhm.
over on the far left, it says AI mode, that's Gemini. There's also, you can download the Gemini app itself if you want to go directly to it. But it's built in. That's the thing about Google. It has a whole suite of tools, including, like, I have the Google Suite, and it is currently recording this session and also creating an AI summary of what we're talking about. So you'll get that as well. So that's what's nice about tools like that. They're called enterprise tools, where they have like all these different suite of tools, and then it's connected through its AI. If you just want a general AI tool, that would be like a ChatGPT or a Claude. Those are not connected to a suite of other tools. They're just its own thing. In terms of the 4 types of AI users, this is just like statistics of how people are using it currently. So it's not how you should use it or how you need to use it or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying this is how people are currently using it. For you, it should be an applied version of using it based on what you need.
Okay. Now I
In your
get it.
work, what's going to save you time. Then so like find out what that use case is, and then
Yes.
that's how you use AI. People don't need to be like experts in using AI in every single capacity.
Okay. I think that's a great answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
By the way, you can have it on your phone and on your laptop, and it syncs. So anything you look for or do on your phone will be on your laptop, and vice versa.
Okay.
So open ChatGPT on the phone and on your computer. I think what Justine was talking to you about just now is, if you look at Google, there's Google, and if you look over here, and you click in the search bar, it goes to AI mode. If you look at the top right over here, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, you click AI mode, and then it's, oh, Robert, what's on your mind? So, as Justine said, linked to a suite, linked to the Google Suite.
Oh, now I get it.
But so these apps, yeah, you can either
Another-
if you're on a browser, you can enter these web addresses. But if you're using your phone, just search in whatever app store you have on your phone.
So another one is, for example, if you look here where my cursor is, can you see it? There's
we lose Robert?
Maybe the meeting timer. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think he might have got disconnected. But I'll just leave this up on the screen just if you want to take a look. These are, I'm just seeing the 4 big ones right now. There's others. There's definitely other AI tools, other LLMs, which are these all kind of do the same thing, where it asks you like, what do you want to talk about today, and what do you want, like, all of those are generative AI tools, and they all kind of do the same thing, but they have different, let's say, personalities and
Yes.
and different capabilities, different things that they're better at.
Okay.
I'd say try them all, honestly. Like, download them all on your phone and see which one you like. And sometimes you might want to get like kind of the, the second opinion of like, okay, I asked ChatGPT this, let me go ahead and ask Claude what it might do, so that way you can rapidly generate, 2 lesson plans and then compare and contrast which one's better, or combine them yourself. You can do that, or you can take whatever you got from Claude and tell ChatGPT to update it. So it does help to be able to have multiple, to have that like alternate perspective sometimes.
Yes. Since I want to do some edits on my introduction videos, is it possible for me to take a video and just attach it to one of these platforms and then?
So what do you mean attach it?
Maybe like what Robert was showing us earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he took a video of the whole, like the whole session, and then he was able to get it typed out in words.
Yeah. Is that what you're trying to do? Get the transcript?
I'm just trying to make my video more fun, like more edits.
I see.
Like,
I'm gonna
I
just,
also want help with that, Justine.
what'd you say?
I also want help with that, please, Justine.
Okay, so I'll say with that, I don't use these tools to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I would use a specific AI video editor. The one I use is Descript. You do have to like pay again, which is the kind of the thing that sucks about all this, is you have to like select the tools you want, and then you have to continue to pay a subscription for it. There's no like magic bullet tool, especially when it comes to video editing.
Yes.
And yeah, so Descript is the one I use. So what you do is you upload the video, and then you can edit it in there. It automatically creates the transcript, which I like. And then what else you can do is edit the video by editing the transcript. I think that's the little magic trick of Descript. So it gives you the words, and then so let's say I delete a certain phrase or sentence from the transcript, it also deletes that from the video, which I think is super cool. And it's better for like long stuff, like a video podcast or a workshop like this. There's a whole part that I might be rambling, then I'll just delete that whole section, and it edits the video. It also has a built-in AI assistant called Underlord, which I think is strange. And you can talk to Underlord and ask it to do certain things. So you could say, please make these transitions, or you can change the format, make it go landscape versus portrait, depending on where you're posting the content. YouTube wants landscape and Instagram wants portrait. So you do have to edit things that way, and it can do that quickly for you. You can also add music. They do have a whole like music library in there of royalty-free music that it just like would have a nice vibe in the background if you want that going with your videos. You can add, I've never actually tried to add AI animation in there, but you could add other things like slide transitions or opening slide, closing slide, things like that. That's what Descript is cool for. If I want to, from scratch, create an AI video where it's like imaginative, I'm making like an animation, a cartoon of some sort, I use Kling AI, which again is a subscription tool. It's not that expensive though. About half the price of Descript, and that one you have to prompt it like an LLM. You have to say, please generate a video that XYZ happens inside of it. And one magic trick with this is also there is specific language that the AI video generators respond to better that is not typical human language. So it go to another tool like ChatGPT or Claude and say, I want to generate a video that's like this. Can you please give me the prompt? And it will write the prompt for you. And then you copy and paste that and put it in the video editor. So it is specific and highly technical, things that like we wouldn't say. And
Yes.
that will generate a much better video. I would say most of the video editors that I've seen only give you about 5 seconds. In the tokens that are part of whatever is like, kind of that plus subscription. I've used about 3 or 4 tools, and 5 seconds is common. So if you want a longer thing, you need to generate multiple 5-second things and then splice them together as well. Yeah, just put them all together. You can also, this is a magic trick. You can tell it a lot that is going to happen, and then you slow down the video. And so when you're in the editor, whatever editor you use, whether it's Descript or edits from Instagram, you can slow down the speed of the video, and then that turns a 5-second video into a 10-second video sometimes, depending on what there's some creativity involved in this. It doesn't always generate what you want. So like reprompting happens a lot there too. But what's cool about things like Kling is you can upload a picture. So I've made a video of our train before. So this is our kind of like our theme is the train. And so I would just upload this actual image, and then I'll say something like, show the train moving on the tracks, so it can animate something that was otherwise not animated, which I think is kind of nifty.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Cool.
Like, I can't wait to try.
Definitely, like just play with it.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to fail. Like Robert said, like it's not going to tell you, it's not going to laugh at you.
All right.
Go ahead and end the call now. I will send a recording of this. I'll put it on YouTube. We will have our transcript, so you can take a look. It'll be a summary of our notes from here today, as well as our info site and our AI assistant that you're welcome to use. And if you are interested in that weekly connection where we can talk about a specific topic and or whatever you've run into that week, just let us know, and we'd be happy to host that for you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Is this an AI agent?